Hey everybody, and welcome back to some more Feed the Beast Unstable. Last episode, we were working on crafting up this supercharged crimson steel hammer made of almost fully triple S crimson steel with a whopping durability of 16,337 and a harvest speed of 14.8. Very fast in and of itself, but I was made aware between episodes from the comment section that we can actually make this even better with just one small tweak, and that small tweak is replacing the wooden tool rod that we used originally, the stick that we used to make the supercharged crimson steel hammer, and replacing that stick with a blaze rod. That then gives it this lovely blaze handle, which if we go ahead and take a look here, normally the harvest speed is 14.8 and the durability 16,337. Now with the blaze handle, that harvest speed is bumped to 16.3 and the durability is bumped even further to 22,872. That is an insane bump in both durability and in harvest speed. Now, I do have a question actually, because although we can do this, and I have done it by the way on both my iron axe and also on my all new lumber axe that I made between episodes, this wasn't in the pack originally, it was added in the newest update, but it makes my life so much easier because of course, as you'll know, if you watched the last episode, I've been using these darkwood logs here as kind of just a decorational feature of the base, and I've used a lot more of it in this new room over here, and so between episodes, getting the lumber axe means that I can now tear down those massive darkwood trees by just breaking one of the logs and the whole thing comes crumbling down. It is fantastic and it makes getting that kind of wood so much faster. I love it, but another way that we can make our tool even better is by adding a tip to the tool, which is something we have done in the past. Our iron pickaxe here is diamond tipped, which not only bumped up its harvest level, making it able to mine obsidian, but it also bumped up the durability and the harvest speed as well just a little bit. And as you can see, there are quite a few different options for tips that we can put onto our pre-existing hammer. Okay, so this is Isaac from the future here. I'm currently editing the video that you're watching, and I've decided to cut out like the next 7 minutes of video just because I spend way too much time trying to explain a very simple concept, and then by the end of it, I don't even end up using the concept that I'm trying to explain. Essentially, the blaze rod multiplies the durability of the weapon by 1.4. And so the logic is that if you add, for example, a diamond tipped upgrade on before you add the blaze rod, you can get more durability because the diamond upgrade adds a set amount of durability, 256, and the blaze rod multiplies your durability. So if you add the diamond tip before you add the rod, you can get a higher amount of durability than if you did it the other way around, by adding the blaze rod first and then adding the diamond tipped upgrade. It takes me way too long to explain this in the video, and then after all of that, I end up going with the glowstone upgrade, which doesn't even add to the durability, it adds to the harvest speed, and the harvest speed is a multiplier, much like the blaze rod handle, so none of it matters in the long run. So to save you some time, I've cut that out. You've not missed anything, trust me. All I did is add the glowstone tip upgrade and the blaze rod to the hammer, which increased the hammer's harvest speed and its durability. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, real quick, I've gone ahead and made this room over here between episodes, and one of the newest things that I put in this room is the Feral Flare Lantern. This guy is super cool. It's from the Torchmaster mod, and it essentially lights up a really large area by putting down smaller invisible lights all over the room so that you don't have to have torches all over the floor or torches on the wall. The whole room is lit up by just these 4 Feral Flare Lanterns, and in fact, we could probably get away with just having one in the middle of the room as opposed to the 4 that we have. They're actually so good, in fact, that they have made my blaze spawner obsolete for the time being. If we come up here, you will see that they've gone as far as to light up this entire area here, and also I should be shifting so that I don't get attacked by the fans, but that does give me a good excuse to actually get done what I said we were definitely going to do in the last episode and then didn't end up doing, and that is putting a little bit of soundproofing in my blaze spawner. And then between episodes, I think I'll go ahead and move like one of these to the middle and then maybe get rid of the other 3 for the time being, just so we can see if that gets the blaze spawner back up and running again. But real quick, let's head on up. Let's grab ourselves some red flowers. Let's grab some dandelions, both of which we should have out here in abundance, and let's make some soundproofing because I am fed up of hearing those blazes growling away. Please do not kill me, my friend. That goes for you as well, that freaking skeleton. Thankfully, we do have a lot of these kind of larger poppies, and we also have quite a few dandelions out here as well, so getting the orange dye should not be too difficult. And then once we have done with this, the main thing that I want to work on in today's episode is improving our storage situation quite a bit, because now that we've been to the nether, we've got some nether quartz, and now that we've been mining, and we have a couple of diamonds, there are quite a few upgrades that we can make to our system to make life just a whole heck of a lot easier. We're going to make a drawer controller for our storage drawers to kind of bring them all together and cut down on the number of tubes that we need. And then on top of that, we're also going to invest in a simple storage network, which is going to allow us to access all of our stuff in all of our crates and all of our drawers from one centralized location. It's fantastic. We'll get to that in just a second. Real quick though, let us go ahead and craft those into red dye. Let's craft our dandelions into yellow dye, craft those together into, you guessed it, some orange dye. And then if we craft that up with our bone blocks here that we got from the nether, we should be able to make quite a bit of soundproofing. Nice. And if we hover over it, you'll see that each block reduces sound volume nearby. So let's go ahead and bump up the hostile creature sound again, because it's useful to have it up in general, because otherwise I don't hear creepers coming and I die. But if we go ahead and we put some of these down, I guess in the wall, it's a little awkward here because I don't want to cut into the room next door. So you know what, let me put this marble back real quick. What I think we'll do instead is real quick, we'll kill the blazes that are here. We know the blaze spawner isn't really working. I think 1 or 2 blazes will still spawn. They'll just not spawn quite so fast. But if we put it like here and here, that should lessen the sound kind of coming when we're standing right here. And then if we go up into the room, we can also lower the sound, because one of the worst things is when we're actually stood in the room above and you can hear them kind of through the floor. So all we're going to do here is we're going to dig out a little bit of space. Oh gosh, you can't do it while you're shifting. Okay, let me unshift. Let me break some space in the roof here, and let's go ahead and throw down just a couple of these guys for the time being. People have offered suggestions in the comment section as to, I know this is a mess, but it'll get the job done and we don't need to see it. People have offered suggestions as to how we can make this blaze spawner better, and I do plan on taking those comments and improving this at some point in the future. For now, we don't really need that many more blaze rods just yet, and so I'm going to leave it as it is for the time being, and we'll come back to it in the future. You'll notice though that we cannot hear these blazes. It is almost completely silent, even with just the 2 soundproofing there. I love it. It's fantastic. So now that that is taken care of, let us go ahead and real quick, let me grab 1 piece of glass, because one thing that I do want to do is I want to get rid of the torches that are in my lower room here. We've got torches all over the floor, and we can actually replace all of these with 1 single feral flare lantern. So we'll get rid of this, and we're just going to put this feral flare lantern up on the roof. The roof is a little far away, but if we do something like that, that should then go ahead and light up this entire area here, which is fantastic. We might have to just move the blaze spawner if these feral flare lanterns become too much of an issue. But for the time being, as I mentioned, I'm not going to worry about it too much. We've got 19 of them in here, and I think we've got even more of them stored away elsewhere in our system as well. And speaking of our system, let's move on and let's start to upgrade our storage network. So the mod that we're going to work with today is called Simple Storage Networks. This one right here. And the core of the Simple Storage Network is the Storage Network Master, which is made with 4 blocks of quartz, 4 network cable, and 1 diamond, all of which we should have. Diamonds we have in here, quartz we also have in here, and then cable is made from stone slabs and iron. Stone slabs we can make from our large amount of stone. We've got a fair bit of it. Most of our stone, by the way, is coming from our ore doubling system, because when you put ores into the crusher, you have a chance of getting cobblestone. That cobblestone then goes through and gets smelted into stone, much like the rest of the ore pieces get smelted into their respective ores. And so real quick, let's go ahead and craft up some stone slabs, like so. Let's craft up some network cable, like so. Let's craft up the blocks of quartz. And then boom, we have ourselves a storage network master, the heart of the network. Only 1 per network is allowed. So this is kind of the brains of the network. It's what connects everything together. Connecting things together is done via the network cable. And the things that we're going to connect together are the storage request table and these guys right here, the link cable. So what these are going to allow us to do real quick, if we make some, and I should probably get in the habit of using my dark oak wood now because I have just so much of it, thanks to that new lumber axe. But if we go and grab a chest, and if we craft up a few link cable like so, I can kind of show you guys how this works. We're also going to need a storage request table, so 4 crafting tables, 1 small inventory, which does require a hopper, as well as some iron nuggets. Okay, so iron nuggets, very easy indeed. The hopper just requires a little bit of cobblestone and some redstone, and hopefully it's stuff like that that we won't have to do in just a second here. Hopefully once we have this set up, we will never have to manually pull things out of our storage drawers ever again, which is fantastic. Real quick, 1, 2, 3, and 4 crafting tables, and that should be everything it takes to make this guy, as long as you have 1, 2, 3, 4 gold in your inventory. Boom and boom. Nice. So if I set up a very basic system here to kind of show you guys how this works, essentially we have our storage request table, which is where we're going to pull things out of our storage containers. So for example, if I put down a chest over here, we're going to have the network master. It doesn't matter where the network master goes, just so long as it is connected to everything else in the network. So boom and boom, that should connect. Okay, so I had to cut away for a second there because by default, for whatever reason, these are not connecting. But if you put down the cable first and then you shift right click onto the cable, it seems to connect. Sometimes if I try and do this, it pops off. And I don't know why. Let me try. So that's not working. It kind of connects and then breaks. I'm a little worried that the game's going to crash. Let me move this for a second and try it like this. That works for some reason. And then this is not connected, but then if we break this and then we replace it, now that's connected. Okay, it's been a bit janky. Sometimes you might have to shift right click the storage request table and or the storage network master onto the network cable itself. The pack is in early access and the mods are still being worked on. There are some bugs to be expected, but nevertheless, once you manage to get everything connected, what we can then do is put our link cable down next to a storage container. It can be anything. It can be a chest. It can be a crate. It can even be a drawer controller from storage drawers, which we'll get to in just a second. But then if we go ahead and connect everything up, we should now be able to see what is in this chest from within inside our storage request table. So for example, if we put our red dye into here, and then we come on over and open up the storage request table, we can see the red dye is available in there. Make sure there's nothing typed in here. It is linked up by default to JEI. So if you have something typed in over here, it will be typed in over here. You can right click to get rid of it, or you can click the little X to clear the search. I'm going to go ahead and disable JEI search. So when I type in here, it now doesn't type in here as well. You can have that enabled if you like, but either way, we now have the red dye in here, and the coolest bit is we can actually pull it out of here and it will take it out of the chest. That is where this gets really cool, because now we can hook up all of our storage containers, all of our crates, and all of our storage drawers to one centralized location and grab anything we want without having to open up multiple crates or multiple chests or anything like that. It's so convenient, and we can even go as far as to craft with it as well. For example, if we go ahead and we put in some wood, and then actually let's craft that up into planks and put those in there. So now if I want to make a chest, I can come over here, I can type in chest, I can shift right click on the move items button, and it should move the items over. It didn't, which could be a problem with it not recognizing the darkwood planks because they're from another mod. Again, bugs to be expected. Let me try that again with normal wood. That also didn't work. Okay, so maybe it's a, there might be like a JEI add-on mod for storage network that's not available yet, and maybe that's why that's not working. Nevertheless, even just being able to access everything from one centralized location and being able to search the network itself to find what we're after is super nice. You know, no longer do I have to search through multiple crates, even though these crates do have a little search bar, which you can kind of get to. I don't know why the search bar is inside of the crate. It would be so much easier if the search bar was kind of on top of the crate, like our trash can is here, if it was on the outside of the GUI. Because right now, if I want to search this crate, I kind of have to click and then click again to get to the search bar. And then I can kind of start typing, you know, to try and find feathers, for example. But now we can have everything localized inside of our storage request table and just search for everything in there. So what we could do, and there is a corrupted slime over there, which we'll get to in a second, I guess. But what we could do is we could put a link cable, this guy right here, onto every single one of our storage drawers. That would work, and it would give us access to everything that's in here, but there is a better way to do it. And the better way to do it is with a drawer controller from storage drawers, this guy right here. And to make this, we need 5 stone, 2 redstone comparators, which do require some more torches and some quartz, 1 diamond, and 1 storage drawer. So thankfully we are down to our, well, we've got 1 diamond left. It's not a good thing that we're down to our last diamond, but thankfully we have 1 left. We've still got some redstone, which is always good. We, of course, have quite a lot of dark oak wood, so getting more sticks should not be a problem. And of course, we do still have a fair amount of stone as well. And so we should be able to make this guy fairly easily here. Let's craft up, we'll go for 8 of those, why not? We are in fact out of stone, which is not ideal, but we can go ahead and smelt up some cobblestone real quick. And in fact, I might even have some stone in another drawer. I don't like I do, unfortunately. My plan, by the way, is to remove the dual crafter. It served me well, but I'm going to replace it with the storage request table. So we're going to have this guy go right about here. We're then going to have the storage network master probably underground somewhere. We don't really need this on shore. And then we're going to have the link cable run through the floor and connect up to all of our storage systems. So for example, instead of having a tube here, we could just go ahead and put down a link cable and then connect that up to everything else. Annoyingly, that's not connected there, so I might have to put this on the bottom to get that to connect. These can only connect to one at a time. Nevertheless, how are we doing on stone? We are doing just fine. We'll grab some of that. And that should be everything it takes to actually go ahead and make 2 comparators, 1, 2. We then, of course, do need to get ourselves a little bit more in the way of wood, and also could do with freeing up a bit of space here as well, just so we can get the new storage drawer, which is a chest and some planks. Like so. And with all that, we can finally make a drawer controller. Nice. Now, normally I would try and put my drawer controller in the middle of my setup. It doesn't really matter where you put it, so long as it touches the rest of your storage drawers. Now, because we have an even number here, I can't really put it in the middle. And so for the time being, I'm just going to hide it under the floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this down right about here. And what this does, what the drawer does, is it allows us to access all of these drawers here, all the drawers connected to it, without having to actually open up each and every single drawer, and without having to put link cable on each of those drawers either. So a couple of cool things you can do, for example, is if you have things in your inventory that would normally go into a drawer, for example, we have one iron ingot here. Normally, we can double right click on the drawer, and it will take the iron out of my inventory and put it in the drawer. That's fine, but it does mean that you have to do that for every single item. You got to go around and you got to right click, double right click on every single one to get rid of all of the stuff in your inventory. With the drawer controller, what you can do is you can double right click on the drawer controller, and it will take everything out of your inventory that can go in a drawer, and it will put it into that respective drawer. Pretty neat. Now, the follow-up to that is that we can get rid of some of the wood here, and if we run link cable, or network cable over, resulting in link cable, over to the drawer controller, we should be able to hook everything up and be able to access everything that is in our storage drawers from inside of the network request table. So we'll put down a link cable here. We're then going to run the normal network cable over like so, and into this. Hopefully that connects. It didn't. That's fine. We know that we can shift right click onto that like so, and that does work. And then the hardest part is kind of just hoping and praying that this guy doesn't pop off when we try and put it down right about here. It didn't. Nice. So now we can cover this up, making sure that we use the right planks, that being these ones, like so. And if we open up our storage request table, we have everything inside of all of our storage drawers available to access inside of here. Beautiful. I love it. And then, of course, we can do the same thing with everything else here. We can get rid of this and put down another link cable here, like that, with more network cable like that. And that should give us access to everything inside of that drawer as well. It does indeed. Now we've got all of this lava stone, we've got netherrack, oak, the extractor, all of the stuff available in one centralized location, which is going to make our lives just so much easier when it comes to crafting or even just finding individual items. Now, it gets even better because we can take this one step further and we can make the storage remote. It's 4 slime balls, 1 glowstone block, 1 network storage master, and 2 gold ingots. And with this, we can wirelessly access everything in our base. So we essentially get this storage request table, but anywhere we want, within a certain range. I think it's maybe like a 32 block range around us, maybe even 16. It's not huge, but it gives us the ability to access all of our stuff without coming back up to this storage request table. We can just right click on the remote and access all the stuff that we need. And of course, to do that, we are going to have to get ourselves some more of these ender slime balls to craft into regular slime balls. Thankfully, the darkness is upon us. And so what we should be able to do here is hopefully real quick craft up some more iron with, it's a vanilla Minecraft sword. I thought we had a Silent Gear sword. We do not. That is fine. In that case, now, I'm just going to make another iron sword. We will eventually upgrade and actually make a real decent sword from Silent Gear with some cool materials and some cool upgrades. But for the time being, this iron sword is quick and easy, and it should get the job done. So I'm going to go away, guys, real quick. I'm going to harvest some more slime. I'm going to try and get 3 more slime balls from the ender slimes, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so not too long later, we have 3 more ender slime balls. Fantastic. We can throw those in there. We should already have 1 in there, I think, from earlier. We do indeed good stuff. That worked. That shift click there put in what I wanted it to put in. How bizarre. But then going for that doesn't work. Trying to shift click the quartz in doesn't seem like it wants to work. That is bizarre. Also, I think I put my quartz in over here. Also, is that all the quartz we have? Please tell me I have more quartz. We might have to take a quick detour to the nether because we only have enough to make 2 more blocks, and we actually need a total of 4 blocks. I love how occasionally it tells me that I have new recipes for things that I've made before, but I think, yeah, we're going to have to pop through to the nether real quick. Okay, let's go do that. So I did mention a second ago that we were going to talk about those corrupted slimes, those big purple slimes. I'm going to sleep real quick, actually. Those big purple slimes that we saw, and whilst I was just fighting the Ender Slimes over in the End Biome just a second ago, I came across even more of them. And I believe that the Corrupted Slimes are a result of chaos in the atmosphere. Real quick, before we go to the Nether, let me head on down to our supercharger over here. You may remember in the last episode, when we went to supercharge our Crimson Steel, we had a moderate amount of chaos created. It says chaos created none. If you put some Crimson Steel in here, it says chaos created moderate. And so I believe that one of the mechanics in Silent Gems is it will add chaos, quote unquote, to the atmosphere. Chaos, I believe, is just a number. So as you do things within the mod that make you more powerful, the amount of chaos around you increases. And so I believe that we're getting to a fairly high, no, please, thank you. We're getting to a fairly high amount of chaos. As the chaos increases, more things like the Corrupted Slime will happen. I believe it can cause thunderstorms, maybe explosions, lightning, stuff like that to happen around you as you add more and more chaos to the world. So just something to bear in mind if you're working a lot with things like the supercharger. Hello, my friend. Thankfully, I do have a bridge building bow. I did kill a ghast previously. However, I did not manage to get a ghast here from it. I will try real quick, because I'm pretty sure this guy is just a one-hit kill with my bow. I will try and get a ghast here. Please come over dry land. I would appreciate it if you come a little closer, my friend. But also simultaneously never hit me with your powers. No, I can't do this. You are too far away, my friend. I cannot acquire your ghast here. So whilst you make your way back over, I'm going to quickly harvest some more netherrack whilst simultaneously trying not to die in the nether. There we go. That should be enough. We should probably get some more, actually, but 11 should be everything we need. Are you coming back? Are we going to get a ghast here? It looks like the answer is no. No, he's gone. Okay, that's fine. This is all we need. All right, so those are the final 2 blocks of quartz that we need. That should get us the network master. Again, maybe it's putting it in. So I think what's happening there is it's putting in the quartz from my inventory into it. So like when where's the quartz we had? I feel like I've lost quartz. Oh, it's in here, right? Yeah, there it is. It's putting in, if the things are in my inventory, it will put them in. So maybe? No, those also didn't go in. I think it's not putting the glowstone in. Maybe it doesn't work with modded items. Let me see. So like this will put in certain things, but it won't put in the diamond, and that is because we don't have a diamond. Maybe it only puts in vanilla items? Like maybe I'll do this? It does kind of do that. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe it doesn't like the modded items. Maybe it won't shift those in, but it will shift vanilla items in. That's interesting. Either way, we are also missing a diamond here. And so once again, real quick, if we head on down to our mine, we should be able to grab some. I know where there's quite a few diamonds down in our mine here, so getting those should not be too difficult. And then once we've done that, we can head on back up, we can make this. And actually, you know what, real quick, I know I take a lot of detours in this series, and it's for a good reason, because I keep remembering little things that I want to make. And one of the things that I want to make is, and that I've wanted to make since the start of the series, are the Traveler's Boots, or the Boots of the Traveler. These ones here, Traveler's Boots, mark 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, we don't quite have what it takes to make tier 3 or 4. Tier 3 requires 13 diamonds, but tier 1 requires iron boots, iron ingots, and 4 leather. How much leather do we have? The answer is none. So, unless it's in here, we got 1 in there, and that is about the extent of it. I think we can smelt rotten flesh into leather. You can't by default. You can dry it into zombie leather, which you can then craft into leather. You can also craft 5 rotten flesh into 2 rotten leather, and then smelt the rotten leather into regular leather. I think I prefer this method simply due to the fact that we have a furnace that can double outputs, right? So if we do this, we can then smelt that into 4 leather, which is enough to actually get us everything that we want here. So let's go ahead and get rid of you, put you in there, and also grab a little bit of coal, which of course we will craft into coal chunks and throw in like so. I would then like to preferably grab it before it goes round into the system. I'm assuming, yeah, the other ones are in here. Nice. Okay, so that should be everything it takes there. So real quick, let's see if we got what it takes. Iron boots, kapow, and then traveler boots. Nice, that worked. And then upgrading those requires a block of gold. I'm not actually quite sure how much gold we've got. The answer is 7 ingots, which is not enough. But essentially, what these do is they just allow you to move faster. So if I put my normal boots away for the time being, this is regular walking speed, and if we go ahead and throw on our tier 1 boots of the Traveler, we get a little bit of speed, and we can move just a little bit faster. Nice. And so the further up the tier that you move, the better the boots that you get, the faster you move. And I believe the last two, the tier 3 and tier 4, even come with a jump boost as well, which makes going down staircases like this even faster. And so if I am not mistaken, there should be a couple of diamonds. Oh, I think I'm in the wrong place, actually. I think I want to be over by the next... Yeah, I'm in the wrong side of this. I think I want to be over here. There they are. Okay, here we go. Again, I'm not going to take too many. I'll take 4. Because I do still want to come back once I have Fortune and actually grab those diamonds. Speaking of which, there is a mod that... oh, it's Silent Gems. Again, there's so much in this mod. But Silent Gems adds enchantment tokens, which you can craft with the token enchanter. So you make a token like so with gold, chaos crystals, and lapis. And then you can take those tokens and infuse them with certain elements. In this case, it's diamonds and Zychron. And that will give you a token. And if I type in token, there should be quite a few of them. There's one for like every single enchantment that you can get. Knockback, life leech, oculent aversion, not quite, it's from apotheosis apparently. A ton of stuff over there. And you'll see here it says max level 3. And so if I make 3 of these, I can then craft those 3 tokens with my tool, and it might have to be done in an anvil. I'm actually not quite sure, but you can craft those tokens with the tool and give that tool fortune, which makes it a little bit easier. It's definitely difficult to get some of the items. Like, I'm not quite sure how we go about getting Zychron. I'm assuming it's a gem that we can find while mining, but if we can find it, it's going to make putting fortune on our pickaxe, for example, much easier. We don't have to bother about trying to do the traditional enchanting. We don't have to worry about getting the wrong enchantments, nothing like that. And we can also do the same thing for efficiency. I mentioned it when we made our hammer. If we get 5 efficiency tokens, which you make with green sapphires and glowstone, as well as quite a bit of chaos, we can get 5 of those. We can craft it with our hammer. We can make it even faster than it is already. And so that is definitely something that we might work on in the future. But for the time being, we're going to head back up. We're going to see about crafting up this wireless remote, and then we're probably going to call it a day for today's episode because I think we've done quite a bit already. So over here, we are after the remotes, which we should now have everything it takes to make. We do indeed. That time that worked, even with the network cable. That's interesting. And then the storage remote also worked there. That's weird, the fact that it won't do chests, but it will do other things. I think the problem with the chest is that the recipe allows multiple different kinds of wood to craft a chest, whereas the storage remote is very specific on what items it needs. For example, it doesn't say any slime ball, it says just the green slime ball. So I think that might be the problem. It can't craft recipes that can have multiple types of an item, if that makes sense. But anyway, we have the storage remote. To activate this, like by default, it won't do anything. I'm right-clicking right now, nothing happens. But if we go ahead and we right-click on our storage network master, like so, that should now be linked, and we can now, oh, look at that. Look at that. Put those away. We can now access all of the stuff from all of the connected storage containers anywhere we want, or at least anywhere we want within reason. I am going to sleep real quick, and then I'm going to test how far this can go. I think it's 32 blocks. I would be annoyed if it was 16 because that might limit us downstairs, but I think about 32 blocks sounds right. So out here, we're still good. I think we're definitely more than 16 blocks away right now, so we're definitely more than 16. I do want to watch out for the creepers and the zombies. I'd rather head towards the burning zombie than the creeper. Also, that rotten flesh can turn into leather later. This still works. It's quite possible in the newer versions, or maybe in the configs, it's been tweaked to be infinite. It might even be 64 blocks, but we're still going. Let me quickly craft up some fruit salad here so I don't die. Okay, so this is the cutoff point. Here, I can access it. If I step back 1 block, I cannot access it. So this is the range. I'm not quite sure how far away we are. For all intents and purposes, it's almost limitless. Basically, if we're anywhere within quite a large radius around our base, we can access everything that we have, so long as we connect everything up with link cable, of course, which I will do between episodes. I'll go through and put link cable onto all of our crates to make sure that I can access everything that we have, no matter where it is in the base. But like I say, for all intents and purposes, so long as we're fairly close, you can see the base is over there. So maybe like 128 blocks or something like that. It's quite a large range, all things considered. But guys, that is going to do it for today. We now have a much more robust storage system. All of our storage drawers are connected via the drawer controller. All of that stuff is now accessible via the simple storage network, which is so powerful. It doesn't even require any kind of power, nothing like that. There's no continued cost to using this thing. It's just fantastic. And we can access all of our stuff remotely as well, which is going to make things just so much easier going forward. And on top of that, we also have these snazzy new traveler boots, which make us even faster, as well as get more space down here in this room. I'm probably going to do the same thing with the other 3 rooms, make something quite large like this, where we can put down and get more of the modded stuff that we make going forward. But for now, guys, as always, if you did enjoy the video and you want to see more Feed the Beast Unstable in the future, be sure to go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new here to get notified as soon as new videos go out. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.